Look Back was a movie I went to see on its UK release. I'd chosen it because I love Tatsuki Fujimoto's work, and it was a good opportunity for me to hang out with a friend. But as I saw this movie twist and turn in front of me, I realised how much it spoke to my soul and the dedication people feel in the creation of art.
Alright, I've got the tickets booked for the cinema.
Nice. Do you want to grab something to eat before or after?
Yeah, probably after, yeah.
Alright, that sounds good, I'll see you there.
Yeah, well, I shouldn't be long.
Look Back. This is easily another addition to my list of anime films that are actually good, and this entire format has been steadily improving since the late 2000s. It's a film that, on first watch, can feel a little weird. It's got all the signature stylings of Fujimoto, the grounded character writing, the off-the-wall emotional scenes, the embrace of darker topics, but it's all presented in a much more digestible, accessible, and concise format than his other, more famous series. It's a great entrance into the world of one of the weirdest authors I can think of. Look Back is an adaptation of the one-shot manga by Fujimoto, released in 2021 through Shonen Jump Plus. In general, the story performed well, especially in its home country of Japan. Fujimoto writes a lot of one-shots, so he's kind of like Japan's answer to Roald Dahl and his own short stories, right down to the eccentricities and surprisingly macabre nature. In response to the major success of the manga, an adaptation was announced in 2024 and released shortly after. This film was a beautiful interpretation of the manga, right down to Fujimoto's signature art style. It's stunningly accurate, even more so than some other adaptations, and an absolute visual treat. Time for me to half-assedly summarise the plot for all you lazy fucks who can't be bothered to watch the damn thing yourself. Look Back centres around the intertwined lives of two girls, Fujino and Kiyomoto. Fujino is the classic artist, drawing comics and characters from a young age and being more than proud about it, reflecting her exuberant and outgoing personality. Kiyomoto, on the other hand, is an anxious recluse, and this is reflected in her own art, with it primarily featuring stills, urban landscapes, and atmospheric vistas. Fujino is the queen of her school's art, until Kiyomoto is featured in the school paper. This wrecks her self-esteem and pushes her to hit that Sigma grind set to become the most goated artist of all time. She locks in and isolates herself from others to focus entirely on art, until she breaks after seeing Kiyomoto seemingly outpace her, and she gives up. Eventually, the two meet when Fujino accidentally slips a comic strip under Kiyomoto's bedroom door, and their relationship shifts from a one-sided rivalry to a strong friendship, pushing each other to improve. They submit a one-shot story to a manga competition together, with each girl utilising their strengths to produce a piece that wins first place. Time passes as the two work together under a pen name until Kiyomoto quits to focus on higher education. As time passes, a mass murder incident occurs at Kiyomoto's university, leaving her as the first casualty. Fujino returns to their hometown and to Kiyomoto's house as part of the funeral and finds her old comic strip, the one that brought them together. She tears it up out of desperation, blaming herself for Kiyomoto's death. But as the scraps of paper fall from her hands, one slides under the door and time travels back to the day the pair met. This time, Kiyomoto is scared into staying indoors, and despite the two never meeting, this new timeline reaches the same point of the murderer appearing at the university, where Fujino does a karate kick to knock the man out before he can hurt Kiyomoto. The two introduce themselves and become friends in the aftermath of the attempted murder.
Hello, Moto.
Kiyomoto draws a comic strip of Fujino saving her, and it slides back under the door to the original timeline, where Fujino picks it up and takes it back home. This film clearly speaks to anybody who's had a desire to create art and communicate it to the world. Not just traditional art like pen and paper, but anything that embodies their creativity. Whether that be music, film, or sensual naked dancing, you can understand how it feels to be so impassioned by what you create and how people receive it. Creativity is massively dependent on your own life, your connections, and emotional state, and Look Back is such a great example of how desperate you can be to create art, as well as how you can find inspiration from everything that's happened to you. Kiyomoto and Fujino are a great example of how art is something joyful and collaborative, but also temperamental and kind of childish. It's completely connected to your emotions, whether they be reasonable or not. I love how Look Back depicts creativity and how human of an ambition it is. Life isn't always pretty, glossy and perfect, and it absolutely imprints on the art of the artist. But despite all the dark sides of life you might find, it's arguably more human to still persist and to want to create for the love of the process and the product. I love art. I love playing music, I love making videos, and I love committing myself to creating something that captures a fragment of my soul in that period of my life. And you can really feel how Fujimoto wants to communicate that to the viewer too. The indomitable human spirit. I really can't find much to complain about with the story, nor the adaptation. It's flawlessly done, with the scenes that feel like they jumped straight off the page and into your eyeballs. The music, the voice acting, the writing, the direction, all of it is a labour of love. Which makes sense. Why half-ass a movie about determination and the power of creativity? If I were to nitpick anything, it's that the pacing gets very slightly wobbly around the second half with the flashbacks and all, but upon rewatch, it's much better than the whole sequence dragging out for too long. I have to say, this movie made me feel seen. It made me think about how human the concept of art is, how timeless it is as a practice, and how delicate relationships are. Every little thing you do has ripples across the world, and it honestly feels like magic. The first thing Look Back made me do when I got home was want to create something. Whether it's pen to paper or plectrum to strings, I wanted to impart my emotions into the vague, formless, and yet eternally fulfilling concept known as art. Sorry the video took a little longer to get out than usual. I did go on holiday to Copenhagen, so here are some pictures and videos to prove that I'm not, sitting around in my house all day. Next video should hopefully be a little better on time, but at this point I wouldn't trust my upload schedule.